If you're an entrepreneur or sales professional and you're not using AI and automation, your business is already falling behind. Welcome to the Done by One podcast. My name is Danielle Damianov, where we break down how modern businesses are using AI and automation and systems to scale faster without working longer hours. On this show, I interview business owners, operators, and industry leaders who are actually implementing AI, not just talking about it. We cut through the hype and we focus on what works, what doesn't, and what you need to start doing now. Because the gap between businesses that automate and those that don't is getting wider every day. If you are ready to future-proof your business and stop doing everything manually, you are in the right place. So let's dive in. Hey everybody, it's Danielle Damianov with Done by One CRM, and I am so excited to have Rob Cressy here today because we are talking all about AI. Rob is an AI enablement coach. He is one of the best. He is the king of AI. So I'm really excited to hop into this and help other entrepreneurs on their AI journey. So thank you, Rob, for being here.
Danielle, super excited to be here.
So let's get started. You've been into AI for a while, and I'm just curious, what do you think the biggest challenge is that entrepreneurs have when thinking about AI or implementing it in their business?
It's going to be a few things. Number one, ownership. Are they taking their own accountability for it? Number two, overthinking. So I don't have a tech background. I'm not a coder. I'm overwhelmed. I live a full life. I don't have enough time, right? But what they fail to realize is that this is just growth mindset 101. That learning AI in your business is no different than learning how to ride a bike. Because what do? You buy that first bike, you put on training wheels, you do that for a couple months, you take the training wheels off, you ride the bike for another couple months, and then 1 year later, you're popping wheelies. So let's not over dramatize how hard AI is, or it's only for the tech people, because that's actually a self-limiting belief. So for someone who is not yet using AI or ChatGPT much at all, I would encourage you to write down and audit those reasons and self-limiting beliefs for why you think you are not, and then put that inside of ChatGPT and say, what am I missing here? Because this can all change instantly, legitimately.
Right. Exactly. And one of the things that you said that really just stood out to me is time, right? I don't have enough time. The thing with AI is it is there to buy back your time, as Jan Martell says in his book, right? So AI is there as a tool to help you buy back your time. I grew up in the hustle culture where my parents were hustle, hustle, hustle. And so that's what I was always used to until now. I don't want to live like that. And with AI, we don't have to. So what would you say that one of the top AI tools is if someone's just going to get started into, implementing AI? What would
Use
that tool be?
use ChatGPT. It's the Xerox of the industry. It passes the mom test. And what's the mom test? The mom test is if you ask your mom something, will she know? Mom, do you know who Michael Jordan is? Yes. Mom, do you know who Oprah Winfrey is? Yes. Mom, do you know what Claude or Gemini is for AI? No, never heard of it. Have you heard of ChatGPT? Yes, I have. And with this, one of the biggest tips that I can give is don't be romantic about the tools. Don't be romantic about AI, because one of the things that overwhelms so many people, and I hear this in my DMs and conversations every single day, I just can't keep up with AI. And you know what I'm hearing, Danielle? That's another version of I don't have enough time or I'm overwhelmed, right? So they think that somehow, because the industry is evolving and innovating like every single industry that has ever been existed, just at a significant pace, that it's brand new, that somehow time is the problem. And I sit there and unromantically Think of this in terms of a binary mindset, a one or a zero. Either you are going to be in the I don't have enough time camp, or you are going to be in the I am leveraging this in a way to grow my business and create more time for myself. And what I like to say is place your bets and then let the chips fall where they may.
Well, and it's fun in the beginning, whenever you're learning anything, a new tool, it is going to take more time. But the whole point of learning that tool is to eventually buy back your time. So let's dive into ChatGPT here real quick, because a lot of people don't know how to use it, right? Or so let's talk about the different ways we can use ChatGPT to grow your business. So number one, obviously, would be social media, right? But what are some of the other ways that an entrepreneur can grow their business?
So, Danielle, I'm both going to give you the answer that you're looking for, and then I'm going to give you the actual answer that I would tell my clients because they're two different things. Because as a business owner, here's the simplest thing that you can do: look at your biggest challenges, your friction points, and the things that you do not like. Why? Because now we can leverage AI to build better systems, create better solutions, or do less of the things that we don't want to do so that we can do what? More of the things that we want to do that can help us grow. So, because of that, of course, you look at your business and you're going to say, well, we have sales, marketing, employees and team, customer service, mindset, personal growth and development, and self improvement. You're going to say finance, there's going to be marketing. And then these are just the high level categories, right? Because then within each of these things, well, what is marketing? Well, do you want podcasting? Do you want video? Do you want short form video? Do you want to build a social media calendar? Right. So the key in all of this, that's a massive unlock, is that system scale. So AI can help you build a better system for whatever department or area of your business that you want. And the thing that I'm going to encourage everybody to have, and I just created a piece of content, I haven't published it yet on this. There's 3 words that are not part of the vocabulary for 99% of people who either aren't using ChatGPT or are just starting out. And those words are intentional by design. What does this mean? Well, if we have all of these options for ways that we can do this, but Rob and Danielle, I'm just so overwhelmed because there's just so much that I can do. Cool. Let's just take a shred of intention and say, this is my vision, these are my values, these are my goals. This is the thing that I want to accomplish. Maybe it's big, high level macro vision, end of the year, beginning of the year stuff. Or maybe it's micro in the dirt. How do I do one thing where you're stacking ones over zeros? And what I want everybody to hear is the intention behind this. ChatGPT is not best used as ask a question, get an answer like a transaction. It is best used as a creative partner, as an assistant, as a senior level thinker, as a member of your team that can create anything. So that's where I would come out right there. But the answer that I would give to my clients, Danielle, is actually the level above this, because it's actually about your thinking around how you use ChatGPT, right? So there's what do I do? Cool. But then there's the thinking about how I use this, right? This is why the intention comes in here. And this is a very simple shift once you understand this, to where if you think of it like a collaborator, not as it gives me the right or the wrong answer, because there are a million different ways that you can go with something. So now you take ownership of what you want to create. So the way that you show up in the way that you think. And for me, the one big thing is having a possibility mindset, right? So, and I learned this the first week ChatGPT came out 3 years ago. So many people early on, and it's still the case now, would say, ChatGPT doesn't work. It told me that George Washington went to the moon. And I sat there and I was like, that's completely irrelevant for me because my goal in using AI is to grow my business.
Right.
How do I turn a dollar into a dollar 50? Therefore, it telling that George Washington went to the moon is irrelevant because I do not have a business in which that's what I'm trying to do. Instead, you say, all right, my goal is to improve my marketing, to grow my team, to create more time, to build better systems. So now what you're going to be doing is leveraging your vision.
Well,
What do you see? Go ahead.
it's so funny that you say that because I think on I don't remember if it was the last podcast or the last time you and I spoke, but we talked about that book, Vivid Vision. And
Oh, yeah.
I went in and I created my vivid vision for 2025 with my Done by One CRM with ChatGPT. And we went back and forth, several times, and it was spot on. Now, as my business has grown and evolved and adapted, I was focused solely on real estate agents and loan officers at the time. And now I'm helping business owners, just like you. And my now I'm gonna go back and upload the vivid vision that we did, last year and say, "Okay, these are the things that I changed in my business. Now let's create a vivid vision moving forward." So, with this being the end of the year right now, thinking about business planning, thinking about 2026, that is the perfect way to hop into ChatGPT and start working on your business plan, your vision for the next 1, 3, or 5 years.
Okay, so I'm going to give a piece of gold to everybody right now that's going to change the next decade of your business. It doesn't matter where you are, whether you're not using ChatGPT, whether you use ChatGPT every day, or you think you're incredible at it. So, Danielle, similar to what you said, I've spent the last 3 months reverse engineering the last 3 years of growth in my business and coaching others, CEOs, entrepreneurs, and their teams around how to leverage AI and ChatGPT for business growth. And I was doing an AI keynote in Orlando for the Florida Professional Association earlier this summer. And they said, Rob, the audience is super new to AI. Like you're going to have to go to the very, very beginning to where I'm on stage and I'm like, download the ChatGPT app on your phone. It is a non-negotiable that you use the paid version of it so that you have the best model. And it ended up being the best talk I ever gave in my entire life. And why is that? Because I shared things with these people who were pretty close to zero at AI, who had no idea that you could personalize your experience, aka Danielle puts in her vivid vision so that ChatGPT knows this. And the light bulb went off for me. The biggest part of the market in AI for what I do from a coaching perspective is the beginning of the market. And the thing that 99.9% of people do not have is a foundation for how to create with ChatGPT and AI. So here's the 3 words that I want you to remember, and these are your entire key to success for AI for the next decade. Personalize, think, create. I call this the unlimited method. The only things that you need. Number 1, personalize. How do you make this experience part of who you are? Your vision, your values, your goals, what you do, how you serve your clients, your brand voice, what you sound like, right? Most people are using the generic, not personalized version of ChatGPT, and they're literally 3 minutes away from their entire experience changing. So personalize your experience. Number 2, think. How do you think about using ChatGPT? Have a possibility mindset, that abundant mindset. Think differently, think creatively, think in systems because ChatGPT can write an email or build you a rocket ship to the moon. So what you hear in between there is the word capacity. So thinking and dreaming bigger is now the number one skill you can have in your life because AI will fill in the gaps. And then number 3, create. This is all around how do you turn your ideas into action? Because our goal is not to play ChatGPT. As we know, Danielle, our goal is to grow our business, or as I like to say, turn a dollar into a dollar 50. So if you sit there at the very beginning right now and you're like, I'm overwhelmed, just write down those 3 words: personalize, think, create. How am I personalizing my experience? How am I thinking with a possibility mindset? And how am I turning my ideas into action?
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. So, what do you think as a business owner? Let's talk about automation for a minute, automation in their business. What do you think as a business owner that's kind of trying to figure out what should I automate or what should I still let humans do, right? What would they're trying to figure out what to automate. What would you say the best thing to automate would be?
I think that the best thing, once again, I'll answer the question and give the actual answer. The terminology that I use is system scale, right? Because automation is a version of a system that you repeat over and over and over again. So now this is where we are going to want to have a systems mindset. And this single thing right here will put you in the top 1% of the way that people leverage AI if you think this way, right? Write me an email versus create me a social media calendar for 90 days for Instagram, Facebook, TikTok using short form video where I'm going to have a production team and I want to post 1 video a day that's 30 seconds each and help me create the buckets. You're like, whoa, one created an entire system that runs itself and one just wrote an email.
Right.
So now you're seeing the gap. So one of the things that you're going to hear and see and experience, and Danielle, you and I both know this, the gap between those who use AI and ChatGPT every single day and those who don't is only going to get bigger. Because think about the person who is creating these systems and creating this automation one at a time versus somebody who's at zero and not doing it. So then when I would look at what can I automate? Well, there's a few different ways that you can think about this. Number one, what do you not like doing? Or number two, where can you see the biggest upside for growth? Right? So oftentimes, once you create one automation, cool, got it next. So the goal isn't just one. You can say, or actually, here's a way that I say this with my clients, Danielle. It's very simple. How do you take something big and make it digestible? Number one, ask yourself, what's the quick win? If you are looking in your business for automation, instead of something taking 3 months or a year, where could you have a quick win? Number two, what's the low hanging fruit? So now you're going to look around and say, all right, maybe there's 1, 3, 5 different areas of my business. You're like, maybe they're not really heavy lifts. And then here is my favorite one, and write this down. And this is something you're not likely to hear anywhere else. It's a term I want you to put into ChatGPT. What is the hidden and non-obvious? So
Mm.
Danielle, with you putting in your vivid vision and your goals and your automation and all that various stuff, you roll into ChatGPT and you're saying, hey, I'm looking to try and figure out what I can automate in my business versus what I should let the humans do. What is the hidden and non-obvious in this for me? Because as a business owner, one of the biggest levers of growth are your blind spots. What
Exactly.
can you not see? So I know that was a circuitous answer, but that's the way that I would be thinking about this in terms of each person has their own unique thing. I mean, what would you say?
Well, first of all, I think that right there was gold. Because we are a lot of times the bottleneck in our own business, and there are things that we're not seeing because we're so used to doing things a certain way. So that I love. I would say to number one, look at, well, what is going to get you increase in revenue. So if you're letting leads fall through the cracks, well, then you need to automate your lead follow-up because that is the biggest thing right now. Like in the age of instant gratification, especially where you live and where I live in Southwest Florida, right? We're in transient areas, so there's not a lot of loyalty. And so, what I mean by that is, I grew up in a small town where if you didn't buy from so and so, it was like a big deal, right? Especially like if you're talking about real estate or whatever, if you're an agent. So, if you don't answer your phone, they're very likely going on to the next. Same thing if you're a dentist, right? There's not a whole lot of loyalty. So being able to capture those leads as they come in immediately and having AI follow up with them, one of the things that we do is we implement AI employees. So I have an AI employee that answers my phone calls, that answers my Instagram and Facebook DMs, that answers my text messages. And the cool thing is that I then get an alert that my AI is having a conversation. So I can hop in if I want to, but those leads are getting, responded to immediately. And that's, I think, the number one thing I would start with.
All right, so I'll yes and you. And Danielle, here's the thing that I want everybody to hear and see of what this is actually becoming. If we zoom up to the absolute top, what is this about? A standard of excellence, right? Because AI can do things faster, cheaper, oftentimes in a very personalized way. So you getting back to somebody, boom, instantaneously because you've got that automation there versus someone who it takes several days to. And anybody who's in sales knows the longer it takes for you to get back to the lead, the greater the chance of it not happening. But here's also the thing. This now becomes the standard of expectation. We buy something on Amazon, they're like, would you like that in 3 hours? You're like, whoa, this is crazy. But then if you run a business to where time delay is in there, but then Rob and Danielle decide we're going to start a similar business in your same area and we're going to leverage AI and we're going to increase the speed of delivery. We're going to make it more efficient. We're actually going to be able to run leaner, faster, and better because we're leveraging AI. So we have better margins in all of this. You can quickly start to see why the businesses who are leveraging AI will win and those who don't won't. And side note, this does not mean Rob and Danielle are outsourcing everything to the robots, because one of the things that foundationally will help us win is the human side of who we are. I like to call this heart first, because when you create with your heart, you win. And that sort of is the perspective that I would encourage someone to think about this is look at your standard. If you want to be the best, this is how the best are getting down. And the gateway to this does not mean that it's harder. You just got to get in the game.
Right, exactly. And I think the gap between the businesses that are implementing AI and the ones that are not is getting bigger and bigger. And, a lot of people are just stuck in, there's a lot of baby boomer business owners also that grew up in that hustle culture that are stuck in their old ways that are not implementing. I just watched my parents sell their business and their database was huge, but also non existent because it was in cell phones or QuickBooks. It wasn't in a central CRM. And so, if they had implemented automation, AI, a CRM, database management, and all of this other stuff, they would have been able to sell their business for a lot more money than what they actually sold it for. So, I want business owners to think about that also. If you're thinking about selling your business in the next 1 to 3 years and you do not have a database, AI, starting to implement this stuff, if you do implement it, you are going to make a lot more money on the sale of that business.
Danielle, I'm working with a client right now that I've been working with for 9 months, where this is the exact thing that we are doing. They said, Rob, we want to sell our business in the next 5 years. In order for us to do this, what is necessary? And I'm like, number one, system scale. Number two, there's got to be AI in every instance of your business, from training your team to the ways that you guys think to the ways that you guys run, because flip the script to the person who is purchasing your business. What would they want? The reason we want system scale is because systems create consistency and predictability. Predictability is good if someone wants to purchase your business. Then no one's going to purchase a business that is not AI enabled. Why? Because this is where things are going to be going. So the next layer of all of this for everybody is the long-term mindset with the day-to-day execution of it. So when my client is eventually going to sell their business in 5 years, they are going to get significantly greater multiples. And Danielle, here's the thing that I'm always planting the seed for them. They run alcohol treatment centers helping people who struggle with addiction get their life clean and have sober living. And of course, we know in that industry, there's Betty Ford, there's AA, like these two big legacy brands. As you said, we've always done this way. And I sit there and I talk to them. I'm like, listen, I don't know if they're leveraging AI, but I can tell you they're not about to leverage it the way that you are. You, of course, can go and build something they'd never see coming, right? Because that's the thing about an iceberg. It's slow moving to turn around. AI can happen fast. So the ability to build a massive company quicker than ever before has never been more accessible than right now.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, so I want to end with this. It's so funny because I was talking to a client, well, potential client a couple weeks ago, and when I asked her how she heard of me, she said Chat GPT. This was for mortgage. And I started thinking to myself, I'm like, that's A, awesome that Chat GPT referred me. But B, how did Chat GPT refer me? And so all of the things that we're seeing now from a lot of the coaches, a lot of the gurus, come take my class and learn how to have a Chat GPT refer you. A lot of people are going there instead of Google, blah, blah, blah. What do people need to do to get Chat GPT to refer them?
So I can do this in 4 minutes, legitimately, because it's like, so coaching with me is very simple. Danielle, what would you love to create today? Well, Rob, I know that people can now get leads from ChatGPT, but I'm not really sure how to do that. I don't even know if you know how to do that. Rob, can you do that? Number one, if you don't know how to do something, what's the first thing that we do? We ask ChatGPT. So for the rest of your life, please throw in the trash that somehow what you don't know is a limit. No, it's a trigger. So you're listening to this, and you're like, what are Rob and Danielle talking about? Take notes. So the terminology for this is AEO or GEO, answer engine optimization, or generative engine optimization. Well, once you know those terms, you say, hey, ChatGPT, act as Gary Vaynerchuk, my world class marketing coach with depth and commentary. I heard that AEO and GEO is going to be the next level of SEO. And I want my name to be able to appear as an option in ChatGPT when someone who could be a lead searches for it. Help me build the strategy. Help me understand what this means for me and my clients. Create me a roadmap with phases and make this simple and easy for me to understand because I'm coming at this at literally zero. There you go. There's your answer. Because then, Danielle, what did I just say? Remember that third part of personalized think, create for the unlimited method? Create. How do you turn your ideas into action? So I just gave you guys the prompt to legitimately go rewind what we just said.
I literally was just going to say that. Everybody listening, stop right here or listen to the end and then come back to this and rewind and word for word what Rob just said. You need to put that in Chat GPT because that is the prompt for you to figure out how to get referred by Chat GPT.
But Danielle, so here's the thing that I want you and everyone listening right now to see. This isn't about the prompt. This is about the thinking, right? Back to the what do they not see? Because the thinking says, hey, this new thing of SEO, people are getting leads from ChatGPT and I'm not. And I don't know anything about it because I'm not a marketing expert. Not me, but like people think right now. Okay. So the thinking says, ding, 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 there's something big happening right now that I'm not a part of, that I don't understand, and I would love to implement into my business. Just drop that into Chat GPT and speak it however you would speak it. I don't even know what this is, but I want to get leads from this. And then once you start doing that, the reason that I put things like help me understand this, make this simple and easy, is because this is growth mindset 101. Most people are failing by asking a question, getting an answer, and making it a transaction. But the true leaders are saying, I don't know anything about AEO and GEO, but I'm going to have ChatGPT tell me about it. Within 30 seconds, I'll be like, oh, this is now the thing. And then as a business owner, you go, well, cool. What are the first steps for me to implement this? AKA, what's the quick win? And then what's the low hanging fruit? And then what am I not seeing in this, right? And then is it you or is it somebody on your team who's executing this? Right. Or is this something else? Because maybe you're going to say, well, maybe I'm working with a marketing agency. If you're working with a marketing agency, you come to the table and be like, hey, what are you doing for my account when it comes to AI integration with SEO? And now you can be more informed than potentially they are. And this is the advantage here. This is not hard. Right. This is just a strategy because then, Danielle, what it's likely to say is AEO is actually about asking a question. So who is the top real estate agent in Southwest Florida? So someone might search that in ChatGPT. So you as a brand would go, I'm going to create a piece of content that says the top real estate agent in Southwest Florida is blah, blah, blah. Insert my name here. And then you create a piece of content for it. And then you look and you're like, well, what are the other 9 questions that my ideal client would ask that could lead back to me?
Are you talking blog, newsletter, social media content? Like what type of content?
So that's the thing. This is now a marketing strategy, right? Without getting so inside baseball, you'll say, ChatGPT, give me a list of 10 questions for me or my team to create content around that will appear in the search results for ChatGPT because ding, ding, ding. This question has this answer. This person is asking this question in ChatGPT. It has this answer. So AEO and GEO is around content marketing. We can still be aware that this can get pulled from a lot of different sources, but I'm a big believer in all roads lead to Rome, meaning what is your house? Where's that branded thing so that it comes back to Danielle or Rob's website? Right? Because that's my real estate. And then you get them into your world.
Absolutely. And I do want to also point out, I think it's important to make sure that you're getting, your Google My Business reviews and stuff like that. Now, if you go to Google, you'll see right there on the top when you're doing a search, it's like AI searching, so that's another big thing. I know that when I spoke to this lady and she's going through a divorce and she asked Chat, I said, how did you, hear about me? And she goes, I asked Chat GPT for a compassionate loan officer. So I don't know why I popped up. The only reason I'm thinking is because of my Google reviews, right? That people might have put, she's helpful, she's this, she's that, whatever.
All right, Danielle, think about this because I actually did this with 2 separate clients. One with an existing business, one opening a Pilates studio in Texas. And he says, Rob, what impact does Google reviews have on AEO? So guess what we did?
ChatGPT.
Hey, ChatGPT, what impact does Google reviews have on AEO? All right, ChatGPT, help us optimize our Google review page so that it is more relevant or has more juice for AEO. With this in mind, it seems like there might be a few different components to AEO, from Google reviews to blog posts. Help me see the entire landscape of what actually matters for this. Right? So this is something, and I'm sharing this because I've gone through it and I can do it with my eyes closed. All you've got to do after that is the work. So the real level up for business owners is this is what your marketing coordinator or intern or person does, or if you're a solo entrepreneur, you do it for yourself. But this is what we talk about how quickly the growth can happen. Because legitimately, Danielle, by the end of the day today, you can have a fully baked AEO strategy implemented for your business without even hearing about it until today.
Right. Absolutely. That's the power of AI.
Crazy how that works. And Danielle, there's one thing you said that I have to highlight because I think it's just too important for everybody around this entire conversation here. When we talked about I don't have enough time and people being at zero, I want to drop all of the romance and give the only three options for how you can learn AI. Number one, you can learn it yourself. How do you do that? Go on YouTube, watch videos, and or get the reps and experience yourself. We both know that will take a little bit more time because you're going to have to figure it out on your own. Number two, go and find somebody who's already done it and buy their course or their program. Why? Because this is where you're going to accelerate the time of not trying to figure out what do I do, what do I do, what do I do. And then number three, just work directly with that person to where you can then say, I run a real estate agency in Southwest Florida and I want to do da 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 da. Help me customize this for myself. And when you understand those are the only three paths, then you can say to yourself, well, do I want to save time, create more output, and build a higher foundation faster? Cool. I'll do option 2 or 3. Let me work with an expert. No, I want to figure this out on my own. Cool. Then that means you're aware it's going to take a little bit more time. But oftentimes, you might only be a couple $1,000s away from changing the trajectory of your business in AI by working with the right person.
And time is money. So
Amen.
that's the other thing, time is money, and working with somebody like Rob, who's an AI enablement coach, or buying a course. I have a bunch of courses online.
Or working with someone like you with what you do, right? I don't want to figure out automation. I don't want to figure out CRMs. Well, congratulations. We've done it all for you.
Exactly. And then it's just a plug and play, and we teach you how to use it. But you're not figuring out where you're going to automate something because we know what needs to be automated in your business. So, yeah. Well, this was awesome. Thank you so much for being on here. It was great conversations. If anybody is looking for an AI enablement coach, you can go to RobCressy.ai. That is what he does and specializes in. And if anybody is looking for a CRM, or we also offer business audits where we'll just come in, audit your business, let you know where you need to implement automation and AI, how you can do that. And then you can figure out if you want to hire someone to do that or do it on your own. You can get that at donebyone.ai also. Any last final words, Rob, or anywhere they can follow you online?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn at Rob Cressy. Here's my final words. Danielle, you and I are recording this at the end of December 2025, and I want everybody to think about 2026 being their best year ever, where you have this vision, you have these goals, you have these dreams, you have this growth in your business, you have more free time to do the things that you love. And what is going to be the thing that helps you make that happen? Is it more grinding, or is this the year in which you say, wait a second, AI is a thing and there is an opportunity, and I can leverage this in a way that completely aligns to who I am? This is the biggest moment we have ever had to make the next year the best year you've ever had. So take that choice, give yourself the gift of just a few minutes to live in that dreams and goals and vision, and then commit. Because what you do, and Danielle and I are both living this on a regular basis. It's why we feel a responsibility to share this stuff, because it will work if you show up.
Absolutely. That was the best final words. The best. So everybody knows where to find Rob, where to find me. Thank you guys for listening. Do not forget, rewind this, get that prompt, and get yourself referred by ChatGPT. Thank you, Rob. Everything was amazing. You're amazing. So I'm really happy to have this combo with you.
Thanks, Danielle.
If today's episode opened your eyes to what's possible with AI and automation, here's the next step. At Done by One, we help entrepreneurs and sales professionals audit, automate, and implement AI into their business without the overwhelm. You can book a business audit to see where you need to implement AI and automation. Get set up with the Done by One CRM to run your business on autopilot, or take our AI courses to build your own AI tools and assistants. Do not wait until you're playing catch up. Head on over to Done by One at donebyone.ai and take action today, because the businesses that implement AI now are the ones that will win tomorrow. And remember, let's be done and be done by one.